He is an author and a speaker. He has appeared on TV, podcast, and radio to share his story, passion, and ideas. He is also a TEDx speaker, a volunteer youth mentor with the Young Street Mission, a non-profitable organization in Toronto, Canada. He holds a bachelor's degree with a major in economics from the University of Windsor. He thrives for helping others achieve their greatness through building their self-esteem and self-love. He believes that the first key towards building self-esteem and self-love is to know that no one is better than you and you are not better than anyone. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Agassi.
I'm very excited to be here today, Farookh. I'm happy to be here to be interviewed by a person of your caliber. I'm very, very excited to be here today. Thank you very much for bringing me here.
Hey, Henry, thank you very much. Thank you very much, because I met you in Florida 1 year back in 2016 when you were called upon stage with one of the top speakers in the world, the motivational leader, guru in the world, that is Les Brown. And you were on the stage, and that's the first time when I saw you. You are all the way from West Africa, from Nigeria, and now you are located in Toronto, in Canada. You are a TEDx speaker, you are an author, you have appeared in radio, and you have appeared in TV show, etc. Let me start from the beginning. Now, before you became an author, before you became a speaker, where did your life start? Just take us through that little moment of yours.
Okay. My life started in Nigeria, in a poor village where I was born. I was born in a small village in Nigeria. And I was born to teenage parents. My mom and dad they were teenagers. So when they had me, they didn't know what to do with me. You're a teenager, right? I wouldn't know what to do. And so my grandfather adopted me. And then my grandfather adopted me, and he took me. I was living with him at the time, and I remember we'd be in a village where a place surrounded with poverty and hopelessness. And then he would take us to the city at different times of the year. He wanted us to be able to, to buy clothes or to buy Christmas stuff. And we'll get to the city, and I will see I will see the kids dressed in school uniform, and they're looking all good. And I wanted to be there. I want to be just like them. And I remember from that city, we'll go back to the village, and I would be in the village. My mind was in the city. I was just thinking to myself that I want to be there. I want to be there. And I told myself that one day, just one day, my body is going to be where my mind is. And then that did happen about 8 years. When I was about 8 years, my grandfather enrolled me in a private school in the city.
Okay.
So I went to the city, and I was going to this school in the city. And when I was going to school, but we didn't have a house in the city. So he rented a 1-bedroom house for us. He rented 1 bedroom in a 4-bedroom house for us. Okay. And the houses were not like good houses with roof. It was in the middle, was wide open. So we have rooms that we're occupying. So about 6 of us, 6 people sharing one tower. We were sharing 1 bedroom, and we have 2 mats. And so we put 1 mat on the bed and 1 on the floor. And it was a challenging time in our life, sharing 1 towel. You can imagine that. Before the first 3 people finish using the towel and get back to you, the towel is wet. So the towel is wet. And sometimes what we do is just you run and go stand under the sun to dry up your body. Or you take a book and try to fan your body to dry up. And then you can rub on cream. So, and I remember sometime we didn't even have water to shower. And so we probably will have small bowl of water, and we have to share that between 6 people. So we only wash a part of our body that's exposed, because our school uniform was short and a short sleeve. So we wash our faces, we wash our hands, and then we wash our legs. And then we rub Vaseline. I don't know if you know the cream.
Yeah.
So we rub Vaseline, we make it shine, and so we named that Rub and Shine.
Just like you polish something.
Yeah. So you rub it and then you make it shine. So we call it Rub and Shine. And so when that school, and I remember a time where we didn't even have money to buy, because there was no electricity for us to study. We have to depend on kerosene lantern, or we use candlelight. There are times where we did not even have money for those things. And so we have to either try to do our homework in the afternoon and then sleep at night because it's dark. And then that was the life that I was in. I was in that school for about 3 years. I finished from that. I was in that school. Then I graduated from that school. And then I ended up back in the village because my grandfather didn't have enough money to send me to another school in the city. So I was back in the village. And I was going to this school in the village where it's a new school that just started. There was no windows, there was no doors. And I was going to school. There was no indoor plumbing. As a matter of fact, some students sit under a tree to learn from that school. And I was there for about 3 years. There are times where I couldn't even pay my tuition fee, which was equivalent to $5. $5, I could not pay it. I was there for about 3 years. My father, who I haven't seen him for close to 10 years. He was actually living in Toronto. So he was living in Toronto, Canada. He came back. He came to Nigeria. He saw the situation. He didn't like it. He decided that he's going to move me to a private school in the city. So he moved me to another private school in the city. And when I got to that school in the city, on one hand, I was very happy. But on the other hand, I was not happy. I was happy on one hand because now I'm going to be eating 3 meals a day. I have my own bed. I had my own towel. Plus, there were a lot of beautiful girls in the school. So I was excited to be there. But on the other hand, I was not. I felt bad about myself. I felt like I didn't belong there because of my background, where I was coming from. I felt like I was a nobody. I couldn't compete with these kids that were from rich homes, and they have a lot of video games and everything. They were all advanced. They went to private school, and I didn't have that same opportunity. And I remember one time, one of the kids in my school, they have this video game. It's called Game Boy. And they were playing with the Game Boy, and then he lost his Game Boy, and then he came to me and he was asking, like, have you seen my Game Boy? Mind you, I didn't know what Game Boy is. So he came to me and he was asking me, have you seen my Game Boy? I said, what boy? What boy? I didn't see any guy here. So I thought Game Boy was a guy. I thought Game Boy was a boy. I didn't know it was a video game. But I didn't know that. So I felt inferior about myself. I was performing. My English was not good. My math skills were bad, and I felt inferior. And then I stood there. What am I going to do with my life? I don't want to go back to the village because in my school, you have to pass math and English to go to the next class. If you don't pass, you're going to get expelled and you have to go back to the village. I'll have to end it back in the village. And I didn't want that to happen to me. And so I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to memorize 5 words from the dictionaries every single day. And I started doing that. Every day I'll sit down, any chance I get, up in my dictionary and read all these things, try to memorize as much words as possible. And I did that for about a year. And my English got better. My confidence began to grow. I was beginning to talk more. And I performed well in this school. And then I graduated from that school in 2008. Then 2010, my father got me a visa and I came to Canada. And when I got to Canada for the first time, I've never seen snow before. I didn't even know what snow looks like. And I remember coming here, the plane was landing. I'm looking at all this stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, why is everywhere so white? What is this white stuff everywhere? Is this sugar? I thought snow was sugar because I didn't know what it is. And then my father has also told his friend to come and pick us up. They came to the airport. They brought jacket for us. I didn't know it was cold in Canada. I was still inside the airport. And so he came to the airport and they brought jacket. And I'm like, why are they giving me this? And then, but my father grabbed it and he put it on. And I said, you know what, grabbed it, put it on. And I walked outside. It's like I was walking into a deep freeze. I was, my face froze. And all of a sudden I saw smoke coming out of my mouth and my nose when I'm talking. And I started asking myself, how do people survive in this country? Like, how do people survive here? And from there, we got into the car. It was warm. We went home. And it was warm at home as well. I didn't understand. And then I asked my father, how come it's warm here? And he told me, oh, yeah, they use the heating system to keep the place warm.
Absolutely.
And then I told myself, okay, there's hope. I could stay. And I was there for close to about 2 weeks or so. My father said, you know what, let's apply to university for you. So I applied to two universities in Canada here. One is McMaster University, and the other one is University of Windsor. So I got admission to both of them, but I chose University of Windsor. And people often ask me, why did you choose University of Windsor? Why didn't you choose McMaster University? And I chose University of Windsor because Windsor is close to Detroit, Michigan. So I told myself, if I go to Windsor, I could be able to go to Detroit and party. So I was planning my university life based on that idea of it's close to Detroit. I can go there to party. And so I went to University of Windsor. I actually did have party. I had fun. I enjoyed myself. I had fun. But when I found out, I lost focus. I was going out. I got my first result. The first time I got my result, I was doing bad. And I asked some of my friends that were in the same boat. We realized that we're doing all the same. We're doing bad. And we say, you know what? When we get back next semester, we're going to work hard. When we got back the following semester, we worked hard for 2 weeks. And then the third week, we went back doing the same thing. And you know what to say. When you do the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same results.
Exactly correct.
Yeah. So I got the same results. And the semester was over. I got my results. I was placed on academic probation. And that was a wake-up call for me. Academic probation means if you don't do well, then you're getting kicked out the next semester if you don't perform well. So I was placed on probation. And I had to rethink my life, thinking, what would I do to change this situation? And I was trying to blame people, just like we do. You know that you're the cause to the problem, but you're looking for those to blame. I said, maybe the course is too hard. Maybe the professor doesn't like me. Maybe maybe they're being hard on this. And I was looking for different excuses. Maybe economics is too hard. Maybe I should switch. And I thought about it. And I looked at myself and I said, I think the problem, I have to face the truth. The truth, just like Winston Churchill said, truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. So and I have to face the truth. And the truth was, if I want my situation to change, I'll have to change myself. I have to do something different. I can't continue partying and expect to get the results. So, and that's when I thought about my situation. I told myself, you know what? I was contemplating switching economics at the time. I told myself, I'm going to stay with this. So I decided to stick with economics. But I have to change my habits. I have to study. I was spending more time in the library. I have to change my friends, because some of my friends they were performing very bad. But I had some friends that I met before that I wasn't even friends. I wasn't even too close with them. But I realized they were getting all A's. If they're getting A's, what is stopping me from getting that?
Absolutely.
And that's when I decided I shift my friendship from these friends to those ones that were performing very well, because your friend, they say you make the closest, your income is the closest of the people you spend the most time with.
Absolutely.
And applying the same concept, if you're a student, if you're hanging out with people that are getting A's, you're likely going to be one of them for sure. But if you're hanging out with people that are getting all F, you're for sure going to be one of them, because you're going to be engaging in activities that they are doing, right? So the same way, I switched my friends and I was spending more time with them, and I'll tell them, anytime you're going to study, call me. I will be there. And so they will, anytime I can just get home right now from class, and they told me, they'll call me and say, hey, we're going to study in the library. You want to come? I say, yes, I'm coming. I'll drop whatever and I'll go there. So I started engaging in activity, in things that would get me out of that situation. And I'll go to professor's office and I will ask them questions, looking for different ways to change the situation. And sure enough, it did. So when I got my result, the semester was over. I was out of academic probation. I was doing very well. Wow. And I told myself, never again will I go on probation. And I stayed there until I graduated in 2014.
Wow, excellent. So tell me, after graduation, why did you turn into speaking and coaching and all those stuff? What is that? What is that attracted you? You could have taken some other job, 9 to 4, sit under somebody's roof and then work for them and to meet their dreams, etc. Why didn't you work on somebody else's dream? Why did you move all the way from there? What was that thing that pulled you out?
I actually, when I first graduated, I got a job. A week after my graduation, I got a job with TD Bank. It's one of the major banks here in Canada. And I got a job with them, and I was working for them, and I was going to work. But I knew that I wasn't happy at the job, and because I knew that I wanted to be a speaker. My last year at university, I was watching a TED Talk. And I think the title of the talk was "How to Discover Your Purpose in 5 minutes" or something. So when I watched it, and it was like a light bulb that switched and said, "You should be doing this. You should be speaking. This is your thing." And before that, I've been thinking, I want to do business. I want to do something, but I don't know what exactly I want to do. I wanted to do. But when that clicked to me, I said, "This is it." And because my friends have been telling me that you're good at this, you should be doing this prior to that time, but I didn't know, I didn't agree with them. And so after that clicked, and I said I wanted to do speaking. I want to develop, I want to help people grow. I like that because I want to do for others what my grandfather did for me. Help me. I want to motivate them, inspire them to become a voice of hope. Because I saw myself as a global voice of hope, because it's been said when there is hope in the future, that gives you power in the present.
Exactly.
And so I was working for the bank, and I was going to work, and I realized that I wasn't happy with the job. I was happy going to work, but I was happy because of the people at work. I was happy because of the colleagues. I like people. I'll help them do this. They'll say, I need a file, I need this. I was helping them doing that, and that was fun for me. But doing the actual job wasn't fun for me. And that's when I realized that I need to go back to my true calling, which I believe speaking has called me. It's something that is my true calling. So I decided to go into speaking. And what I did to take that step, it was scary. It was scary for sure, just like any other thing. Like, what am I going to do? But I had to look for mentors. I went online. I looked for a couple of mentors. Les Brown. I've been following Les Brown since university when I discovered him. I've been sending him letters, trying to get him. But so I wasn't able to get him. So I got another guy, and he told me, you know what? If you should write a book. And I said, I'll write a book. Okay. But I said, oh yeah, when you write a book, it's like, that's your that will be your calling. That will be like your card that you can give people instead, and that will establish. And then I say, you know what, I'm going to take on this and the reason why I agreed so quickly, when I was a kid in that village, I was going to that elementary school. I thought about being an author. Actually, matter of fact, I started writing a book as a kid. And then I told myself, nobody's going to read your book. You're just a kid. Who is going to even listen to you? So I stopped. So when this came, it was like a confirmation that, okay, now I'm going to write it. I'm going to do it. And so I decided to write a book, and I wrote my book. It's called Stand Up, Stand Out, and Be Confident. And when I wrote that book, and when I finished writing, I wrote the book, and in 2016. So when I launched the book in 2016, October, that's when I decided to go into speaking. And that was around the same time that I met Les Brown. And I went and I met Les Brown, and I spoke to him. I connected at that time, and that gave me more confidence. And then to be able to build myself, because I have the desire to help people grow. I have the knowledge. I want to impact people with knowledge. And that's my desire. That's what led me to this route. And I wanted to do something that I love doing and that will help others grow.
Wow. Tell me, how important is coaching? Because you looked for Les Brown and you got Les Brown. How did he help you to be the person that you are today? Because you also got the opportunity to share stage along with him. So tell me, how did his influence change you as a speaker today?
Les Brown his influence has definitely helped me a lot. The first time when I was looking for mentors and people to help me with like coaching Les Brown, and then I went online, I looked for top speakers, and I was listening to their story. But I realized that I connected more with him. And I remember telling one of my uncles, and I said, I want to be trained by Les Brown. And he says, man, Les Brown is up there. It's hard to reach him. But I keep telling myself, I want to be trained by him someday. I don't care what happened. I want to be trained by him. And then after that, and then when I eventually get to connect with him, he was able to help me in shaping my story, because we all have stories to tell. But when you strategically tell your story, you're able to drive people into action, to take actions. And that's what he did for me. When I got my TED Talk to speak, at that time I already had him as a mentor. And then I called him, I say, I've been called to give a talk, but I don't know how I'm going to do this. And so he was able to shape it for me and say, do this, and he was giving me the point. So mentors and coaching, they provide direction for you, because you may not be able to see it at first, but you need them to kind of guide you. And then you will be able to, eventually you'll get there. But I think it's very important to always have somebody that you're looking up to, or somebody that is guiding you in a way, because we all need coaches, right? All the top basketballers and footballers, they all have coaches.
Exactly.
So it's very, very important.
Wow. Now you talk a lot about self-esteem, you talk about self-belief, and you also talk about self-love. Why is this important to love yourself?
And I believe it's very, very important to love yourself, because loving yourself is connected to what you achieve. Because self-esteem if you don't have self-esteem, you won't know how much you're worth, your self-worth, because they're connected. And if I give you a wristwatch, and if I don't tell you how much the watch is worth, you may just mess around with it. You say, I don't care, whatever. Like you probably won't take care of it as very well. But I come to you and I say, Farookh, that wristwatch you're looking at right there is $5,000. Quickly, your mindset change. You begin to treat the watch in a certain way. You want to keep it well. You want to protect it. So when you have that same thing in terms of building your self-esteem, it helps you know your self-worth. And when you know your self-worth, that will determine how much you earn. That will determine how much you let people how do you let people treat you? Because people will treat you based on how you treat yourself. How people see you, it's important. Sometimes it's important how people see you. People can that help open businesses for you. Absolutely. But how you see yourself is very, very much important. How you see yourself is very much important, because the image of yourself will show in your character. The image of yourself will show in your business and what you do. And if you don't have those things, if your self-esteem is low, if you don't love yourself, it means you're going to look at yourself a certain way, like you're a nobody, which means you won't have self-belief. And if you don't have self-belief, what is going to come out of that? You won't be able to do things for yourself. Exactly.
If I take your example, if I put that example as an author, there are a lot of, as a speaker, there are a lot of people who do not value their own speeches, and sometimes they give it absolutely free. And once you give it free at certain situation, what happens? You are not valuing your own speech, and people would walk in. They won't give the value for your speech. They would say, well, it's a free speech, so let me come, sit, listen to what this guy has to say and walk away. But at the same time, if you tell, well, if you're coming for my 1 hour session and that cost you $500, now you put a price. You put a value to that. What do you have to say? What do you have to say about that? And how do you pitch your speeches? Do you charge for it?
Yes, I charge for some of my speeches. Some of them I volunteer to do that, because I speak on. I don't only speak on self-esteem. I speak on. I've been called to speak on diversity and inclusion, and that's one of my passion. It's all about the issue of love, connecting people to love each other or loving yourself, which are all related. So I've been called to give speeches on those situations, and I very much love them, because I'm all about establishing love between humanity. As a matter of fact, I'm giving a TED talk again. I'm coming up October of this year, but I'm giving that on the area of diversity and inclusion, because I've given free speeches in those situations where I say, I want this is a valuable thing. I value my speech, but I know that if somebody listens to this, they may not have the money, but sometime I'll decide to give them. And a matter of fact, when I go to some schools and I go give maybe a free speech or class, they're very much appreciative. They'll write me letters, they'll give me something and tell me that we appreciate you, because they know that I could have said no, but I decided to offer. So sometimes you charge, but at the same time, you can also learn to give. I was giving you an example of Les Brown. He's giving that something that's doing free for me. Because he knew, I still value him. And I stayed with him. I said, this is my person. So it's like, if you know what you're getting, you place value on it, whether it's free or not. But some people, yes, absolutely, I agree with you that if something is free, they'll say, no. They'll treat it carelessly. The same thing, right? When we go to a store, we're buying stuff. When you go to a store, Louis Vuitton, and you buy, you pay $1,000 for your shoes, you treat it better than you go to a store and you get a $1 store, or maybe let's say $30 something. You treat it differently. So absolutely, those situations work. But I try to evaluate which ones do I need to offer. If this person said they say, we want this, but we don't have the money, we really need help, and I say, okay, I have something to say, and I'm going to give it the opportunity. I'm going to share that with you guys, because I knew that a kid somewhere or somebody they need that story or whatever I'm going to say to help them. So even if I help one person, because in an audience of 30, at least one person will value you. And that's enough for me. And you can change a person's life. That's enough for me.
Absolutely. There are a lot of people who stand on the stage and they talk, but they don't follow themselves. Once they are out of the stage, they are different people. They do what they want to do, but they are different on the stage. But a very good example that we spoke backstage today is about Les Brown. because Les on the stage and off the stage is the same person. And you also said that you spoke to him yesterday and he called you.
Yes, he
so
called
me. Being such a very popular, well-known, well-established, #1 in the world, in such a caliber person, coming down to your level and being a servant leader, serving you, how does that make a difference in you? And how can you become a servant leader tomorrow?
I think Les Brown's story and his life is an example to me, especially now that I'm seeing it firsthand happening to me. Mm-hmm. Because some of my friends or people, when I say, hey, I talked to Les Brown, and like, are you for real? Is that real? Mm-hmm. But that showed me what I should emulate. Mm-hmm. I wanted to emulate him, to do the things that he's doing. That I haven't only seen him on stage, but in person. Is doing those same thing. And I believe, and he said there's something Les Brown said, you have to be, he said the man behind the word is much important than the word itself.
Yep.
So you have to be able to be the person to live the life that you are preaching. Mm-hmm. And I think what Les Brown said something, it said don't preach what you, it said don't practice what you preach, but preach what you practice. So what you're already doing, that's what you should tell people. Don't tell people to do something else and you're doing something else. And that will help me. For me, I want to be a servant. I want to be able to be an example, because I saw myself. We live in a world where a lot of people they're going hopeless. Mm-hmm. They're losing hope. I wanted to be that reason to give them a hope, to say it is possible that you can achieve your dream. It is possible that you can become the person that you desire to be, and not only don't let things put you down. And I see myself like that. And that's what I always intend to live my life based on what I preach. If I tell you to do this, I'm doing those things as well. If I'm talking about self-esteem or self-belief and self-acceptance, I have to first of all accept those myself, because I cannot preach or talk about self-esteem on stage when I haven't dealt with myself. Absolutely. It means the words are not even going to come out right. Because if I don't have the confidence to be on stage, I won't be able to speak it. And if you can speak things without believing, people will know it. They will see it. So I believe to always preach what you're already practicing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Very good. Now here, before we end up, one of the question to you is, what is that you're going to give back to your country? When I say your country, I'm talking about Nigeria, because you have seen the downside of it. You have seen the dark side of it. You have gone through the dark side, sharing one towel without water, shining your skin. You've gone through all those things. Now, what is that you're going to give back?
I mean, what I plan, the couple of things that I planned, like I told you earlier backstage, that we're planning to work with Les Brown in my city. We're planning to go there and be able to help people, because what I've seen there is like a lot of people are depending on the government rather than starting something for themselves. And so the government can't do everything for everyone. They may be trying their best, or some people may say they failed, but they can't do everything for everyone, right? So we have to develop that entrepreneurship mindset to do things for ourselves. And so me and Les Brown and a couple of others, we're planning to go to Nigeria to do that, to be able to establish an institute or something there that will be able to train people to learn how to make money on their own, not without depending on the government or depending on someone. And also, one of the things, to give people the self-confidence, to give them the self-esteem, to be able to say, I can be able to do it, without saying I can't do it. Because when you don't have that confidence, that self-belief, you don't want to do something. So my hope is to do that. So I have a couple of plans, even schools as well. There are some things that I plan in terms of schooling, to hopefully be able to establish a school someday, eventually, where I can be able to bring those kids from the village to mix up with the kids in the city. Wow. So that way they're exposed. So that way when they're exposed, they're learning from those kids, they're learning from each other. Because I saw myself moving from the village to the city. That created an exposure for me as well. So I'm planning to do things like that to be able to help in that situation.
So you are going to place the seed of hope and the seed of dream in those little kids who are there back in Nigeria.
Yes, absolutely. Because we all need somebody in life. We cannot do it alone. And so I want to be able to give them that sense of self, because when you have a sense of self, you have a sense of purpose, and when you have a sense of purpose, that gives you a sense of direction.
Yeah.
And because if you don't have a direction, then you're not going anywhere. So you have to have that sense of direction, like a mental GPS that is telling you where to go. Because when you're going somewhere in life, just like when you're going somewhere, you put your GPS, they're telling you to put the address of where you're going. So being able to tell them that that place is possible, if I can see that, I'm going to go there. And then you put that mindset, and that pushes you to get there. Because without that mental GPS, you can't get there, right? So I want to be able to give them that GPS in them to be able to pursue their purpose and dream.
Wow, that was so powerful. That was so powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, Henry Agassi.